Hello and welcome to another episode of ToVsday. Yesterday was Monday, today is ToVsday, and tomorrow will be Hump Day. Now I'm going to try that again. I don't like that,
I was like, where is this one going?
Hello and welcome to another episode of ToVsday, where we educate you on Tales of the Valiant. I'm joined once again by Angie and Livy. Go ahead and say hello, guys.
Hello.
And just like last week, as we promised, we were actually going to go over the talents, which, again, scary word, same definition as a feat. And to kick the ball off and to figure out how Tales of the Valiant has changed up this core mechanic in a really unique way, I'm going to pass the ball off to Angie.
So, talents, over the course of time as you are adventuring, you get to improve. And that's where talents come in. They really kind of showcase what you're really good at. So they're divided into 3 categories this time. You have magic talents, martial talents, and technical talents. Your class is typically going to determine which talent lists you are going to have access to, and they're gained in 2 main ways. When you choose your background during your character creation, then you get to select 1 talent from a list of options that are provided in that background, and when a character class will grant you an improvement.
And improvements, they're not new and scary at all. You'll recognize them as ability score increases.
They choose a talent from the list specified by their class features, assuming the character would meet any of those necessary prerequisites just like you would for any normal feat. And firstly, we're going to go straight into magic talents. We're going to go over 3 to start. There's lots of options, and we don't have all day, sadly. The cleric, wizard, and spellblade fighters all have access to magical talents, so let's go into the first one. Combat casting. So if you're familiar with Warcaster, which is an amazing feat to say the least, this is a bit of a change on it and some flipping. You'll notice that with many of these talents that they take what you know in 5e, but it just translates it to be a little bit more refined. So first of all, of course, the prerequisite, you need to be able to cast spells. That's kind of a given, but your experience on the battlefield will have given you superior focus to cast your spells. So again, as you're adventuring, you are improving, you're getting better. And with this, instead of having that advantage on your con saves to maintain your concentration, instead, you get to automatically succeed on them to maintain concentration on a spell if the DC is equal to or lower than a number equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus, a minimum of 10. So a lot of GMs tend to forget about the fact that whenever you're doing a concentration check, it is 10 to start, but otherwise you would take whatever half the damage is. So this kind of gives you a bit of a 1 reminder for GMs, and 2 as a player gives you that extra boost as you're continuing to level up to know that I'm more likely to keep concentration on what's going on. And of course, whenever you have an opportunity attack that is provoking, you can go ahead and instead use your reaction to cast a cantrip instead of making a melee attack. So again, slightly different from what you probably know from Warcaster, but then the added extra bonus that is amazing, especially when you have people like paladins that are playing, where you can use a shield or weapon that you're holding as a spellcasting focus.
So you can pretty much have a glowing sword that shoots out a fireball, right? That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
We're just gonna fireball everything with style. And then our second talent that we're gonna go over is going to be Elemental Savant, or Savant, however you want to say it. The prerequisite is the ability to cast at least 1 spell that deals damage. So if you're just healing,
this isn't for you.
well, as long as you have the ability to do damage. This is the kind of the revamped version of the Elemental Adept feat from 5e. And so essentially you're going to choose one of the following elemental damage types. You have acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. So there's a bit of an option there. And whenever you cast a spell that would deal damage, which is why that prerequisite is there, you can convert that damage type to the chosen type that you have selected. You have to declare this while you are casting it. However, additionally, whenever you roll damage for a spell that would naturally use that chosen elemental damage type that you have chosen, you can go ahead and reroll any damage dice results of 1. You have to keep the new result, and you can select this multiple times, so again, very similar to Elemental Adept, just with a little bit of a change and some buffs and nerfs here and there to keep it balanced. And on our third talent that we're going to be going over here for the magic side, we have Mental Fortitude. So this is a little bit bonus and extra of multiple different feats that you might recognize in D&D 5e, but most significantly, a slight reminder to how lucky works, in the chance that you get to make some rerolls and have some extra bonuses if you're not a fae. So through rigorous mental exercise, you have fortified yourself against mind-altering effects, and so you get to gain the following benefits. Once per long rest, when you fail an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma save, you can choose to reroll the save and take the new result. So kind of giving you that lucky essence in a way. And if an ongoing effect causes you to be charmed, frightened, or stunned due to failing a save, you can repeat the save at the end of each of your turns, ending the condition on a success, even if that effect would normally not allow you to do so. That's important because there's so many times when you are fighting, something happens to you and you are just stuck there and you can't do anything to help the party, and it feels terrible when you're playing. So this really allows you to just say, no, I'm going to make the save and I'm going to continue to help. That's huge.
Those are amazing. Next up, we're going to be covering the martial talents. Now, as a barbarian main myself, I had to cover this section. Some of the things that we're going to be going over here include the first martial talent, which is the Armored Combatant. This is amazing, first of all. You gain a +1 bonus to your AC for wearing medium or heavy armor, which you're proficient with. And also, you can, for each instance of bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, you can reduce that amount equal to your proficiency bonus. Which, I mean, Angie, Libby, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have just a bunch of little kobolds swinging on you, but they never do more than 3 damage, you could essentially be standing there unfazed.
You small, puny fool. You think you could take me on? Oh, no.
You'd be untouchable.
Oh,
yes, that is exactly
amazing.
what that means.
I don't know if you guys have watched Sword Art Online Abridged or not, but...
I don't understand! We threw everything we had at him! How is he still standing?
Next up, we have the hand-to-hand. I was going to say hand-to-hand combatant, but it's just hand-to-hand, and that's totally fine. Pretty much what this does is that it insinuates the fact that you practice wrestling, boxing, or engaging in some form of martial arts, and you've mastered that technique efficiently enough to fight with your fists. So your unarmed strikes deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength, instead of a typical 1 plus your strength. So you have that little extra bonus, and on top of that, you have an advantage to ability checks made to intimidate or escape a grapple, which is amazing because you're right up and close with somebody. If you're practicing a martial art or a fighting style, you should be able to escape a grapple, and you should deal more damage. This talent just makes sense, in my opinion. Finally, we have the Physical Fortitude martial talent. Pretty much what this does is once per long rest, when you fail a strength or a con save, you're able to re-roll and take the new result. On top of that, if an ongoing effect causes you to be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned due to failing a save, you can repeat the save at the end of each turn, ending the condition on a success, even if the effect would not typically do so. So you see that trait kind of coming over from the Mental Fortitude, and honestly, I think it's such a cool ability.
Then lastly, but definitely not least, we have our technical talents, which I am super excited to talk about. First up, we have Aware, which I really like the changes that you'll notice from the Alert feat from 5th edition. Instead of it being just a +5, instead it's bumping your consistency, which I super appreciate. When rolling for initiative, if you roll a 9 or lower, it'll instead turn your roll into a 10, and then you get to still add all of your bonuses. Of course, you're still not going to be affected by the surprise condition, and this is a big one, hidden targets don't have advantage on attacks against you.
Take that, rogues.
Another talent that I'm super excited about would be Field Medic, because tracking healer kits is no more. As a game master, that's so exciting to me because I feel like healer kits actually stunt my players' creativity. They're just like, oh, I'm doing first aid, I'll sew you up. But I want to hear more about the crazy stuff. Like, I picked up some mushrooms on the side of the road while we were walking, and I'm going to crumble them and mush them into your wound. Things like that. I feel like removing the word healer kit, not only do you not have to track it in your inventory anymore, but we can get really creative with it. And then also, once between each short or long rest, you can save the life of one of your party members by treating their wounds enough that they heal twice their con modifier. The last feat I wanted to talk about was Touch of Luck, which I could use some luck sometimes. When you would gain 1 luck point as a result of failing an attack roll, as Tales of Valiant has to do, very nice mechanic, you're instead going to gain 2 luck points, 2 for the price of 1. But, and as a hoarder, I appreciate this, I hoard all my consumables. If you ever save more than 5 luck points, when you would gain your 6 points, it's going to reset you back down to a d4 plus 1. So, use them, don't lose them.
That's right. You guys can't sit on your hoard full of luck points and dump them out on us whenever you choose.
I'm imagining a player just rolling and rolling until they succeed to finally stun the boss.
They see me rolling, they hating.
Wait, guys, I got this. No, wait, I'll use another one, wait.
Come on, nat 20.
But with that being said, if you guys want to know more about Tales of the Valiant's luck system, we will be covering that at another point in another video. But I think what we have for you next week is we're actually going to be going over ability score increases and how you guys really choose your ability scores in character creation, because I know that we mentioned that you don't really get them with your lineage or your heritage. It's done in a little bit of a different way, so to learn more about that, check in with our video next week where we'll be covering that. Thank you guys again for tuning in and learning more about Tales of the Valiant. To stay in the know, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and be sure to check out Angie and Livy. Their links are in the description as well. In the meantime, see you guys next week, and thank you again. Bye-bye for now, guys.
Bye.
Bye.